had to get my daughter to do the section, guys, because the room is really dark. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to talk about my weight loss journey so far, and it requires a bit of transparency. So that's why I'm just in this to show you my progress and to really share. In the last video, I believe I told you how I tried everything. I spent over $1,000 paying for a fitness trainer, going to the gym, thousands more. I just was not seeing any results. And I literally prayed about this and asked the Holy Spirit to help me with it. Now, the last big session I had on my WhatsApp group where we came together and people had different needs, that's when I was praying. This is when I was offering it to the Holy Spirit. Now, let me come closer. Once I did that, and I was on a 1 week fast, and during the week fast, I started getting dreams with, well, the spirit will sometimes show me something in my dream. An older woman opening the palm of her hand and showing me something, and sometimes the spirit will whisper what that thing is, and sometimes I don't know what it is, and I have to describe it and speak to another friend of mine who understands herbs and these natural things. Sometimes I describe it and we figure it out together. Sometimes the words come when I'm waking up and I research it. And so as I started looking for these herbs, I realized something, for example, like cerasee. You'd be surprised how amazing cerasee is for the body. And for somebody who's struggling with weight and also struggling with diabetes, cerasee is a lifesaver for me. And the spirit in one dream brought it to me and literally said cerasee. I jumped out of my dream hearing that. Another time I had a dream and I heard millet. I knew nothing about millet. And I am dairy free. I'm lactose sensitive, and so I can't have any dairy. And I often struggle with getting things to taste good, without having to use milk. Let's all face it, milk does make things taste better, but really, really bad on my stomach. So when the Holy Spirit showed me millet, when I researched it, I realized it was a very great milk substitute. And there are others I'm going to list as we go along. So during that week of fast, the spirit started coming to me and showing me things. And when I looked it up, it was very good for the body. It was good for people who were struggling with diabetes. Every single ingredient that I got during that fast and after that time were things that I needed to help to get me or get my body right. Now, people often hear that in order for you to lose weight, and I did that for many, many years thinking that was true, it has to be calorie deficit. Therefore, you have to have less calories in terms, of people saying, I'm going to cut out rice, I'm going to cut out flour and sugar and all those things. But I was cutting out all those things and I was not losing any weight. So it wasn't just about calorie deficit. It was eating from my blood type. Again, another time I had a dream. I know my blood type is O positive. And I had a vision. And when I looked up the ingredient that I got, again, spirit. And the spirit doesn't have to look like me. Sometimes it's an old Indian woman or old Indian man would offer me a herb or offer me something. And when I look in and I research it, it's something that is okay for me with my health issues and all my sensitivity. And let me tell you, people, I have a lot of sensitivity to the point where I just said, I don't care anymore. How can I survive? I have to eat something. So I would eat the things that would affect me, like wheat, gluten, which is one of my worst enemy. And so the spirit was showing me how to conquer this with just natural herbs and foods and combination. Trust me, when I say the spirits were here with me 100%, like I said, I asked, and all the things that was affecting my weight loss turned against me. And that's how the spirits were supporting me. Remember, we all are born with a team. We all have a team of angels surrounding us. And they're just waiting for our instruction. They're just waiting for us to tell them what we want from them. They're not going to read their mind. They're not going to our mind. They're not bullies. So, when I asked for help, trust me, the help was coming, but not necessarily the way I wanted it. Because when I was getting sick, and everything I was eating was making me sick. That was so unpleasant. It was very depressing. There are days when I was on yo-yo. My blood sugar would be all the way up, and I have to bring it down. And it's all the way down, and then I have to try to bring it up. It was just the most frustrating thing ever. But when I started introducing these things that I started seeing in my vision, and start letting go of the things that were making me ill, and stop thinking about weight loss as something as calorie deficit, because when you do that, you're always starving yourself. You can't, when you have a certain amount of meal and you're all focused on, I can't have this, I can't have that, all you do is focus on when it's time for you to eat again. So after you've ate 9 o'clock, you're worried about eating at 12 again, because it's not a lifestyle change, and it's not eating for your needs. You're just worried about losing weight. And for me, fat just started falling off my body once I started eating the right portion or eating certain things with the right food. So I fry. To this day, I fry chicken, and not chicken because I don't eat chicken anymore, but I fry fish. I fry plantain. I thought frying was a problem for me, but my body needed that. My body needed the fat. You needed to let go of the starches and certain type of starches. So again, I was already gluten sensitive, so letting that go was not, it was difficult, but it was a good thing for my body. But I had to replace those, so no dumplings, no bread and cookies and those things. I had to replace those. And so I introduced, again, through Dream, I started eating more green bananas. And I've always liked green banana, don't get me wrong, but I started seeing them more in my dream, somebody cooking and giving them to me in my dream. And every time I see something in my dream in terms of food, I always research to say, is this something I should be having? Is either something that is not good for me to eat, or is something that the spirit is introducing me to? Stay with me here, because not everybody understands this. This video is not for everybody. It's only for the mad people, okay? So I started eating more green banana, and I started having more plantain. So plantain became my main staple. I started having plantain for breakfast or lunch or dinner. Whenever I needed, first of all, something sweet, because I have a sweet tooth. Whenever I need something sweet, plantain would be my go-to. Then also, instead of sugars, I started using dates. So again, Spirit showed me the dates. And so I start blending the date in my smoothie, or blending the date to add to my porridge, or anything that needed to be sweetened. And this video can only hold so much. So I'm just telling you about a few things. The millet, the date. I started adding more cashew. So I started drinking more cashew milk in my tea, in my porridges. And instead of having, because I love porridge, but I cannot have too much cornmeal porridge. So I started having steel cut oats, even though I was sensitive to oats. But because oftentimes the oats that's in the supermarket is prepared in facilities that use flour, so I would drink this oat porridge and my stomach would be so bloated. Like, it'll be so big after I'm done drinking it. And I'm thinking, well, if oats is supposed to be gluten free, then why is this happening to me? So I started buying the steel cut oats, because Rich showed it to me, not just the name, but the product itself. And I would go to the bulk barn and buy like a pound or whatever, and I would use this, because sometimes my breakfast would be green banana and or fried plantain, and you get bored eating the same thing over and over again. So again, I discovered something, that the oat porridge would also make my blood sugar go really high or low, and would also make my stomach really bloated. And so I had my vision and realized someone's giving me food, giving me cornmeal porridge and boiled eggs. Now listen, people, I had stopped eating eggs altogether. But when I saw that, I said, oh my gosh, maybe I should be doing this. Only to find out that I need protein with every meal that I'm eating. So anything I'm eating has to have protein. So even though the cashew milk has protein, but I would need something heavier like scrambled eggs, and I started using the white because I didn't really like eggs. But I used to love it way back when, but I had stopped eating it like that because the yolk used to make me feel nauseous, and still do to a certain extent. So if I'm going to, I'll use 3 eggs. I will break the eggs, separate the yolk from the white for 2, and I'll add 1 with the yolk, and I would scramble that. And again, I was scrambling this using margarine or olive oil. And I would eat that, and then I noticed when I did that, then the blood sugar would be stable when I eat the cornmeal porridge, or if I was having the steel cut oats. Um, I wasn't going on the scale because it's the worst thing to do, and I just wanted to just watch what was going to happen. And I never knew I was losing weight until one day I went to try on something saying this is what my size 16 outfit. That's what I want to get back into. That's all. That was my favorite size at the time. And when I put it on, it was big. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I was having more fat in terms of, but healthy fat, guys. I was eating more salmon, and I don't want to forget this. At least 3 times per week, I'm eating salmon. And salmon could be for breakfast, it could be for lunch, it could be for dinner, it doesn't really matter. But if I was having, for example, a piece of salmon, I would have it with a green banana or some fried plantain. But every meal had to have at least half of it with vegetables. And in the summer, I have a lot of kale, cabbage, lettuce, tomatoes, and onion. So every meal, I have a lot of vegetable. Sometimes in the morning, my stomach can't handle it. But in the beginning, I was doing that. I was having even vegetables in the morning. I was having, at one point, I couldn't eat any more sweet potato because it was bothering my blood sugar. But once my diet slowly changed, I was reintroducing the sweet potato. And it's a good substitute for the bread as well. And a good substitute if you need something sweet. Okay, I don't want to drag this out anymore. I'm going to come back with more, but slowly I started seeing the weight drop off my body. And again, I haven't started any rigorous exercise program yet. I will very soon, but I've just been so busy with work, and at the end of the day I'm so tired that I have not. I have a treadmill and I really intend to start using it. We'll see how this goes, but really the day keeps me so busy running up and down. um I kind of just, maybe it's my laziness, say that is enough. um I also like to dance, and so I guess you could consider that as part of my activities. I'll dance for 15 minutes with the kids, um and it helps me. Anyway, I'm going to pause here before I get too bored. I know some people are saying you're motivating me. And remember, you have to figure out your own rhythm, though. All our bodies have its own rhythm. In terms of sleep, sometimes you need more sleep. So, you know what I mean? In order to regulate your hormones, and all these things mean a lot. And listen, I'm not a doctor. This is not a medical advice. I'm just telling you what I did or what my process has been thus far. Okay, I'm going to pause here for now. Any questions you have, let me know. Take notes, because you can write down some of the things that I mentioned here, and then we can talk about it, or you can ask me more questions about it. And again, find out your own rhythm. For me, menopause was kicking my, so and so. That was one of the things why I was holding onto the weight in this area. It was just not going anywhere until I found that balance, having the right foods, drinking the right tea, or using the right herb. Things like basil is so wonderful for the body. Oregano is wonderful for the body. Sea moss, OMG. I'm going to have to talk about this another time. Stay blessed.